Hello everyone, HoniGAME is back, but don't be too quick to celebrate and clap while watching today's video. If you accidentally clap, I can't guarantee that the terrifying creature won't appear in your own home. The creature I'm about to tell you about appears in the game Nightmare Files Clap Clap. This monster is attracted to the sound of clapping and is ready to attack anyone who lures it with claps. So if you're at home watching this video, absolutely do not clap. Instead, hit the subscribe button hard. Once you've subscribed, the monster will automatically leave and won't bother you, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now that you've done that, let's find out what this monster is. Nightmare Files Clap Clap is an indie horror game created by a developer named Ray Castley. This is also the first horror indie game he has made. Despite its short length, the game has received quite a few positive reviews for the suffocating and tense atmosphere it creates. For more than half of the game, you won't have any information about the danger you're facing. You can only sense that something is constantly lurking around you. It's quite similar to the method of creating a suffocating and scary atmosphere used in the legendary Amnesia game series. Even the method of controlling and interacting with objects in the game is heavily inspired by the iconic Amnesia series. The action of opening doors is simulated to resemble real-life movements, making every door opening a moment of extreme suspense and tension. The most special thing about this game is that it is completely free. So if you haven't played it yet, you should definitely give it a try. If you're too scared to play, don't worry, I will explain and analyze the entire storyline of the game right here. The story begins on October 8, 1984, when the main character finds a job ad for a house sitter in a newspaper and immediately takes the job. The owner of the house where the main character is going to work is named Maxim. This house is located in a very quiet neighborhood. To find Maxim's house, the main character meets a resident of the neighborhood named Marco Batovsky, who is very helpful. Marco reveals that almost every house in the neighborhood operates as a smart home, where basic operations can control all the electrical equipment in the house. These smart homes even have excellent security systems. The reason why everyone upgraded their houses was due to mysterious disappearances near their area, combined with the recommendation of a resident named Savo, who praised the smart home system. Thanks to these recommendations, many residents installed the systems. After getting a lot of information from Marco, the main character finally arrives at Maxim's house. Just as Marco described, as soon as the main character steps inside, the house's lighting system automatically turns on, as if welcoming someone home. Inside Maxim's house, there is also a receipt for the installation of smart home devices, indicating that Maxim has recently upgraded his home. Without hesitation, the main character immediately checks the job note left by the homeowner. The tasks are not difficult. They include checking the mailbox, watering the plants, and taking out the trash. Notably, the note also mentions that the main character can control the house's lighting by clapping, which excites the main character. So before starting the tasks, the main character decides to tour the house to enjoy the smart home's ambience. However, there is one room in the house that the main character is not allowed to enter. This room has a warning sign above the door, which looks quite mysterious and dangerous. After a quick tour around the house, the main character begins the tasks. First, he checks the mailbox and finds a flyer asking for help to locate a missing person named Kemkel Zekson, 25 years old. The frightening part is that Kemkel was last seen when he was also working as a house sitter, just like the main character. On September 23, 1984, this information makes the main character feel uneasy and skeptical, but since he has already taken the job, he decides to continue with the tasks and proceeds to water the plants. While watering the plants in the backyard, the main character feels as if something is watching him from inside the house. However, he doesn't notice anything unusual and continues his work. After finishing the task of watering the plants, the next job is to take out the trash inside the house. Strangely, there are some bones inside the trash bag, but being the protagonist of a horror game, he doesn't pay much attention to it. As he opens the door to take out the trash, the main character unexpectedly encounters an agent named Ristolino from the Federal Investigation Bureau, who is investigating the mysterious disappearances in the neighborhood. Ristolino asks the main character about the recent disappearances, but of course, asking a clueless horror game protagonist yields no useful information. Nevertheless, Ristolino kindly warns the main character to be very careful when moving around in this neighborhood. After that, the agent leaves. Through the conversation, we learn that the disappearances in the neighborhood are not simple at all. There could be a dark conspiracy behind them. Even the seasoned agents from the Investigation Bureau have no leads, suggesting that these disappearances might be connected to a dangerous and extraordinary force. As soon as the agent leaves, the main character finishes the task of taking out the trash and returns to the house to enjoy the luxurious life. However, something unusual happens in the house. The main character goes upstairs and discovers that the warning sign that previously prohibited entry to a room has been removed and is now lying on the floor. Even the picture that was on the TV stand has fallen to the ground, as if someone had been in the house. Still possessing some sense, the main character decides to check the house again for any issues. But after inspecting all the rooms upstairs, he finds nothing unusual. Feeling tired, the main character decides to go to the kitchen to grab something to eat and then go to sleep. However, he is abruptly awakened by a loud noise coming from inside the house. Going out to investigate, he is faced with a chaotic scene. The Forbidden Room's door has been broken open. A normal person would immediately try to escape or call the authorities for help, but since this is a horror game protagonist, that's not what he does. Instead, the main character decides to enter the Forbidden Room alone to check things out. The room looks like the scene of a struggle. Everything is in disarray, and there are terrifying scratch marks on the walls. These images clearly indicate that someone or something had been living in the room. This entity brought food into the room, used the wardrobe, and many other amenities. But it's evident that this is not a normal human being, as the scratch marks on the walls suggest it was something large and possibly very frightening. While still bewildered by the scene inside the room, the main character catches a glimpse of a shadowy figure near the window. Instead of fleeing the house, the main character decides to pursue the shadow. In a moment of distraction, the two come face to face. A tense chase ensues within the house. The monster continuously claps to turn off all the lights, while the main character must stay alert to keep the lights on, as the creature gains its full power in the dark. At this point, the game has two different endings. In the first, the bad ending, if the main character fails to find a way out of the house. No matter how much he claps, the monster will find and kill him, and he will become the next mysterious disappearance in the neighborhood. In the second, the good ending, if the main character manages to break a window and escape the house, he leaves the monster behind and reports the incident. However, no one knows what the monster is or where it has gone. It is only clear that it is likely because of the disappearances in the neighborhood. Even though we now know the true culprit, many mysteries of the game remain unsolved. For instance, the origin of the monster and the fate of all those who fell into its hands. Now, let's dive back into that house to uncover more, shall we? To understand the origin of the monster, we need to uncover what really happened in the neighborhood where the main character works. We only have a bit of information from the neighbor Marco about the area. According to Marco, the reason he installed the automated system in his house was because his neighbor, Savo, had installed it and praised it highly. Additionally, it was to ensure the security of his home and prevent disappearances like those that had occurred in the neighborhood. This means that the residents only started installing smart systems after the disappearances began, suggesting that the monster in the game might not be directly related to the smart system. But things might not be so straightforward. I suspect there is a murky connection between the monster and the company providing the smart home services. According to Marco, the first person to install the smart home system was Savo. However, After installing the system, Marco mentioned that Savo went on a vacation. Does it make sense to anyone to install an expensive, high-end system just to go on vacation and monitor the house remotely? If Savo wanted someone to watch over the house while he was away, he could have hired a house sitter. This indicates that Savo's purpose for installing the smart system wasn't just to monitor his house while on vacation. Alternatively, Savo might not have gone on vacation at all. He might have disappeared, leading the neighbors to believe he was on vacation. Next is Maxim, who posted the house sitting job ad on October 8th. According to the receipt found in the house, Maxim also installed the smart system on October 3rd. Just a few days later, Maxim was said to have gone on vacation as well. This case is very similar to Savo's, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Regarding the monster currently in Maxim's house, it's very likely the cause of Maxim's disappearance, indicating that he never actually went on vacation. Another clue is that Maxim previously hired a house sitter named Kemkel Zekson. Interestingly, Kemkel Zekson was reported missing on September 23rd, which was before the smart system was installed in Maxim's house. Therefore, I speculate that it was Maxim's house that caused the mysterious disappearance of Kemkel Zekson. It is very likely that Kemkel Zekson turned into the monster we encounter in the game, as it was noted that when he went missing, Kemkel was wearing a black sweater, which matches the color of the monster. However, relying solely on color to claim that Kemkel is the monster is not sufficient evidence, so let's look at some other clues. After escaping from Maxim's house, the main character reported the incident to the police. During the investigation, they discovered the body of the neighbor Marco in his own house, meaning that shortly after installing the smart home system, Marco was murdered. The culprit is undoubtedly the monster from Maxim's house. It seems that the monster dislikes light or clapping sound, so when Marco installed the smart home system, it killed him. Besides finding Marco's body, the investigators also found parts of Maxim's body in the trash can. More precisely, the bones found in the trash bag that the main character cleaned up were Maxim's bones. It seems that right after installing the smart home system, Maxim was also eaten by the monster. The fate of the neighbor Savo wasn't any better, as he was also confirmed missing, though his body was never found. The monster may have completely devoured Savo as well. The significant point is that the authorities couldn't find any information related to Kemkel Zekson, which further supports the theory that Kemkel is the terrifying monster. Some might argue that the monster might have completely devoured Kemkel, including his bones. I don't think that's the case, because the monster seems to attack only those related to the smart home system. Kemkel Zekson went missing on September 23rd while working at Maxim's house, and the smart home system wasn't installed in Maxim's house until October 3rd. Therefore, there's no reason for the monster to have eaten Kemkel, right? Based on the scene in the Forbidden Room in Maxim's house, I am even more convinced that Kemkel is the monster. It's possible that Maxim locked Kemkel in that room. The reason why Maxim did this is unclear, but being confined for so long likely drove Kemkel mad. The only food available in the room was cereal from the Clap Clap brand, the same company that installed the smart home devices. Being exposed to the Clap Clap imagery for so long, Kemkel seemed to become obsessed with the sound of clapping. So when Savo in the neighboring house installed the Clap Clap smart home system and used the clapping sound, it attracted Kemkel's attention, prompting him to escape through the window and eat Savo. Next, Maxim faced the same fate when he decided to install the Clap Clap system in his house. Maxim soon became food for the monster. Marco was the next victim. The main character is the only one lucky enough to survive. The common thread among all the victims was that they used the clapping sound to control the lighting in their homes. This clapping sound made the monster extremely agitated and obsessed, leading it to kill everyone. However, all these theories are just my personal thoughts, so they might be right or wrong. Take them for entertainment. Okay, that wraps up my analysis and theories for the game Nightmare Files Clap Clap. According to the author, this series will continue to develop with more thrilling and horror-filled cases. So to avoid missing any of these analyses, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you found this video interesting, please don't hesitate to give me a like, share, and subscribe. The more support I get, the more motivated I am to bring you more new and exciting content. Thank you for watching, goodbye, and see you in the next videos.